German language. He died.
Isn't that wonderful that we can talk about this like
The
this?
difference of German or English or American language is a very, very great superstyle. And here you cannot learn. In Thailand you can hear the language. And when you can hear good and slowly, when they speak, have the glass with jam, and they speak about, you know that word is jam. But here the Philippine language, nobody can understand that and nobody can hear it. That's not possible.
Do you know, of course, you just referred to the numbering system, you know, and I give you a start there. What Thai people, what they mean when they want to write a comment, let's say in English or any language, but in the same Latin alphabet as we are using, you know, in the Western world. When they say ha, 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 what is it they are trying to say? They are no. I made a completely mistake. When they say 5, 5, 5, or 4 5s or 6 5, in reality they are saying ha, ha, ha. You know, expressing laughter.
5
you know,
is ha.
and they're expressing laughter in a very strange way, you know, and it's funny, you know. Yeah, when in text, in a text you see several 5s in a row, that means he's laughing at you or by himself, you know, because of the sound of the number, you know.
The nicest number for me in Thai language is 333.
Boy, that's too much for me.
That's Samloi Samdip Sam.
That's what?
Samloi Samdip Sam. Samloi is 300, Samdip is 30, and Sam is 3. Samloi Samdip Sam.
So much for that subject, you know, but it was a little exciting or funny.
You was also
side
in
into it.
Thailand.
Oh, more than once. I worked there.
You worked there.
Because I worked for a company in Germany, you know, that frequently sent me to the Far East, many of the countries in the Far East. I had the opportunity, yes.
And you need to work with Thais.
Of course, yeah. But most...
Only until 12 o'clock. After lunch they drink whiskey and lying in the corner.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I didn't have that experience, you know, because it was typically on pretty high cost things, you know, and the Thais all spoke, you know, past tense in der Vergangenheit. Sehr gut Englisch, nicht Deutsch. Sorry.
Alfred, you don't really think that all Thais wait for 12 o'clock and then go. Do you really think that all Thais do that? How did they build all of those temples?
The normal people.
You must know that that's a generality. Generalities don't work any more than saying that all foreigners work like dogs every day, all day, right up to 6 o'clock. And then you have to drag them off just to stop them working and have something to eat. That would be just as wild a generality as saying that all Thais do this at 12 o'clock.
You need to live there, that you know it. That's another kind in the companies. They need to work 8 hours. But the normal, in the countryside, the most people, I don't know the word in English, they work for 1 day. And at 5 o'clock they get their salaire. And when they have no fun the next day, they are not coming. It's every time only for 1 day. And that in the countryside, most people, it's building houses or on the farms, everywhere the same. When they don't want to come tomorrow, they will not come. And maybe the next day they are coming again.
Well, I know that
Uh,
in the Philippines you can have
and
some of that, but it's
between-
not everybody.
1, 2 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. You will find nobody on the road. They are sitting in the house. There's
Yeah, they have
siesta.
a, well, they have a
hot.
siesta because of the weather.
And a great part, alcohol is a great problem there.
Yeah,
They
well, I
are
would-
drinking alcohol
Yeah.
after lunch, and then the work for the afternoon is over.
Yeah. Well, that would be a common thing in society, is that alcohol is a huge problem. Drugs are a huge problem in the Philippines.
Thailand and Philippines is a different same day and night. Here are the people busy. The Thais are fools. When a Thai win today 3,000 baht in lottery, he make a 3-day fiesta, a lot of whiskey, a lot of pork meat, cooking and drinking the whole day until they're lying under the table, and working it over until the money is empty.
Yeah, but every extreme is wrong. You know, when you say
It's
all,
that's
is-
a
is wrong.
generality. That's what they
Of
call
course.
a generality, where you say everybody's going to do this,
yeah,
and there's
All
always people
is
who
wrong.
don't do that.
none is wrong,
Yes,
typically.
because none is a generality
of
as
course,
well.
it's the other
I-
extreme.
You know,
I speak most over the most. There is the English word, Ausnahme.
Exception.
The exception in everywhere. That's clear.
And some,
There are people in Thailand, they built out of nothing over many years a company.
yeah.
But that is not normal in Thailand.
It's not normal anywhere. In America, they say that the 2% have all of the wealth, and almost everybody else, the other 98%, are in various degrees of either small businesses or working for somebody else. But for instance, in the Philippines, you know, one of the couple that helped us quite a lot, they have a hardware store, and the fact that they gave us credit when we needed it was a huge help to us. But they were at a certain level when we came. I think they had one store, and that couple, they're both Filipino, and they worked. They have 3 children who are all getting a good education. They have a successful business, but they work very hard. There's the exception.
It's not the hardware store in Burgos?
Not in Burgos, no. In Etafi,
Ah, in Bhutan.
yeah, Ambacon. And the man and the woman are both very hard workers. You can see how hard they've worked because their business has flourished.
Yeah,
The
that-
people, and they have someone who works for them, who is now having her, I don't know, 4th or 5th child. There's the other end. There's the other end of the spectrum, that she doesn't know any other life.
yeah, that is the great difference here in the Philippines. But that is in Thailand only a small percent.
Well, the very rich are a small percent wherever you go.
That
Oh,
are the
yeah.
exceptions in Thailand.
Yeah.
The other people, I know it. I was working on the farm sometimes, and the owner came with a pickup and loaded 20 people on the pickup and brought them home to their field. He stopped on the road and stopped in the morning before we begin working. There are a lot of women. They bought more in the store than they got salary in the evening.
The thing is, not everybody is meant for big business. My brother-in-law, my brother-in-law is really a talented. He's a talented man. But he cannot bring himself to study. I've said to him that Beth and I would pay for his education, because if he just learned the codes, learned what the different loads are on the beams, and studied, he would make a lot of money. He said, no. He earns a wage, he takes it home, he's built his house, not a particularly very good house, but he has a family. He likes to go and drink with his friends. He comes in and works every day. He works hard, he does good work.
I would say also no.
You know, but
I would only also not study. You can give me money what you want.
yeah, well, there we are.
And,
See,
and special not for farming,
yeah, well, there we go.
that you cannot study.
Is this Manong, and I forgot the last name? Help me.
Beanie works at the building site.
Okay.
If I swear, I've said to him, you know, look, if you just studied, you would earn the money.
Yeah.
You could. I've said to him, you could have a house like this, and I'm sure that he could. He could put himself out as a contractor. He could get his license, but he would have to study. I mean, you could. It's feasible that sometimes people, they can't read the words themselves,
Okay.
but they can have it explained to them. So you can't tell someone that the load between one beam, one pillar and another one, depending on what the load is, then you have to have a heavy beam, or there are calculations which you do. Now, some people can't study that up and make it mean anything. But if someone said to them, look, this is how it works, and explain it to them, they'd be able to take it in. So it's almost like he could pay someone to read something and explain it to him and memorize the answers. And I swear he could be a rich man. But he doesn't want that.
No,
It's
you don't
impressive.
need to become a rich man. You
I-
need only to live.
I agree.
If it is at the end of the month, okay. But what is in this country is not okay, and that is the point. They earn not enough for 8 hours work. They cannot pay in the insurance for health. They cannot pay in the insurance for
Well, they
pension.
can. Yeah, they can.
And
Pay
that
Phil
need
Health.
all be possible. You have a family with 2 kids maybe, and that you can pay for the insurance, and maybe only a motorbike, that would be okay, and the house is okay. It need not nobody to become rich. That is not the idea, and that you can reach without to study. The really poor people, that is not only here in the country or in Thailand or that in Germany or America, the same. That are people who have a big hole in the head, and the other, they are the disabled people who cannot work out of any reason. And until now, the old people in these countries who have never paid for pension. And when they have no kids, it's a greater problem. But all other have 2 hands and they can do anything.
Should tell you that Alfred doesn't think that we need any more engineers. When he knew that 2 of our students are being engineers, he said, why do we need engineers?
It's real. You don't need an architect, you don't need an engineer.
Don't need architects, don't need engineers.
Why we need that? Because of